Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. Hope everybody's doing good this week. It's been a kind of quiet but very, very fast week for me. I don't know how you guys are doing. You know, I did try to get rid of those crowns thing, and I have the directions that I wrote down 2 weeks ago, and it says go to studio and then notifications, and I can't find notifications, so I looked under settings, I looked under customization. I couldn't find membership. I couldn't find this stuff. And so I don't know if somebody just like asked Google and then got instructions. It might have been from a version of like 6 months ago or something. That's a lot of the problem I have when I try to figure out stuff in here is you Google it and they're constantly moving everything, so you get instructions and it doesn't fit anything that's on your screen. So, sorry. I don't know if they can be removed. Maybe if I like asked if I did harder searches, but I spent 5 minutes and I couldn't find anything. How come I at number 1 when I barely posted anything? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Jackie is not usually number 1 all the time. She posted like 100 things immediately. Yeah, I know. I don't care. It's just funny because it's like somebody might care. I know you guys aren't all into that stuff, but it's just amusing. It's kind of irritating, though, because it takes up room, like a big chunk of room. Why can't they put it way over on the side by the images, like, of your, like, over here, little tiny? Because it's like hogging half of the writing room. And it's just distracting. I know, I feel like I just did this like 3 days ago or something. It definitely has went by like really quick. Days this week have gone by so today, I don't know what I don't think I hardly did anything at all today, and yet here we are at midnight. So don't ask me how that worked out. I don't even know, Vivian. They just showed up. I never, somebody gave me instructions to get rid of them, but I can't figure out how. I know where studio is, but I don't know, like they said, then go to notifications. Well, there's notifications up here normally, but you get to those without going to the studio. And I check those just to make sure, and I don't see anything on those. And I don't see anything under studio for notifications. And I don't know anywhere where there's membership loyalty badge or anything, so I don't know. I don't know where that stuff is until we shift into a reality where they never added this feature. I don't know. Do people actually like that? Is irritating as F. Just put them over on the side or something. Sandy is live. Oh, okay. It's fine. I don't have a ton of stuff, but I do have these icky lampreys. I'm sure that attracted so many people. We've had these on before, but here's the thing. They're freshwater now, little monsters. They're all in the rivers. There's all these different kinds. And apparently now, so these things, when they first showed up, they would just kind of suck onto like sharks and stuff and get a free ride, okay? But now they not only just suck on, but they have like teeth that clench on, and then after they clench on, their tongue they have a raspy tongue that comes in and then bores a hole into you. Apparently the suck is so strong that it can like hurt if it gets on you. And here's the thing, they do bite onto people. So they're in the freshwater. Now, the freshwater ones I saw were up to 1 foot long, but I know the saltwater ones can get up to 4 feet long. And now they're saying that the saltwater ones, you know how the salmon, they used to say, oh, the salmon, they go up the rivers, the freshwater rivers to spawn, and then they go back out to the ocean. Well, they're saying that the lampreys do this. And so apparently there's bajillions of these in the rivers. So, and then even in California, they're everywhere. The Great Lakes are 100% infested with them. So I was looking at something, and they started talking about lampricide. I'm like, what the F is lampricide? So I guess the story now is that like 100 years ago, some of these were spotted up in one of the, I think, Lake Ontario. Yeah, wait, I did write this down. Became invasive, first documented in Lake Ontario in 1835. Now that by 1938 they were established in all Great Lakes. Now I don't get it, because if they're saying they're swimming up the rivers to spawn, yet obviously they're not all getting back out to the ocean. So I'm expecting another one of those stories where they just kind of take up residence in the lake then. So now the story is that for like almost 100 years, we would, like, our government would spread lampricide in all the rivers to keep their numbers down. But then during 2020, when something happened to distract everybody, supposedly they didn't go out and spread the lampricide, and now suddenly, kaboom, there's lampreys everywhere. And they're explaining it by saying that they failed on their 90-year quest to spread lampricide. Like, lampricide, I haven't even heard of that crap. So they're in all the Great Lakes and all the rivers, and in California. So this California one is like a foot long. These ancient nightmare-inducing fish, dubbed living fossils, blah, 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 blah. Juvenile lamprey go through a prolonged larval stage, lasts 3 to 9 years, during which they filter feed on microorganisms. Okay, well, that's not too gross. But this is, 25% of all remaining lamprey species are at risk of extinction. Oh, good riddance to them effers, man. They weren't here before. They can go back to the timeline that they came from. In California, there are currently 8 recognized species of lamprey. Oh, yay. While little is known about the lineages and biodiversity of these populations, native lamprey play important ecological and cultural roles. Get out. I do not want, they do not. I am sorry, but we were perfectly fine last year without these effing things, and we will be fine again if they died. But you know they're not, because nothing ever goes extinct, even if it's icky. During their juvenile stage, they improve water quality. Yeah. As adults, they can be an important source of food. Oh, yum. Understanding that, see, look at all these effing things. Juvenile lampreys can be very abundant in California rivers and are an important source of food for predatory fish. These juveniles were captured in a rotary screw trap on Stanislaus River, which I believe is up north. You know what? They can go to hell. Adult lampreys in a fish passage at Bonneville Dam. Oh, great. So the adult ones are in the dam, then they're effing everywhere. God, those things look longer than a foot long, don't they? Ew. Lacking the gill flaps that characterize bony fish, Pacific lamprey instead have 7 round gill openings along each side of their body. Ew, then they're all gross looking inside. I'm just not loving this lamprey crap. So yeah, there's stuff on YouTube where people are like, see if it'll bite, and then they bite, and then so they do pop them off before they can stick their tongue and dig down too far, but they still hurt, I guess, a lot. They have like incredible suction. Like they said, it's like 3 times worse than a vacuum cleaner or something. And not only do they have the suction, but then they have the teeth kind of like these, ugh. Yeah. I love this part here. Pacific Coast is well known for its anadromous salmon and steelhead. I was like, what's an anadromous salmon? Well, I looked it up, and it just means that they spawn in the salt water, in the fresh water, and go back to the salt water. Okay, so California has them. Everybody has them. They're all up in Europe, all different kinds. I typed in freshwater, but I don't know if all of these are actually freshwater. You can see the mouths are a little different on some of them. So you get this. It sucks on. These are the little teethies that clamp on, and then like this nasty, raspy tongue comes out of here and starts gouging a hole into you. So they're more like cookie cutter sharks now, like slow biting cookie cutter sharks, than they are just like the free ride. When they first showed up, they were just hitching a free ride on the sharkies. They weren't hurting anything. Now they're like super creepy. Look at those things everywhere. And then, yeah, I don't know. Like, what's the biggest one? I don't know if those 4-foot ones come up the river, but I got the feeling that they do. So, yeah, they're invasive, sort of, but they're also native to the rivers. So, let's see. Let's look this thing up here. Invasive. Oh, it's the sea lampreys. Okay. But see all these freshwater, there's freshwater lampreys and then there's sea lampreys. So just that one kind is considered invasive. Native to Atlantic Ocean, entered the Great Lakes through man-made waterways such as Erie Canal and Welland Canal, which allow them to spread through the basin. They have caused ecological and economic damage by attaching to native fish. The Great Lakes Fishery Commission, blah, 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 implemented comprehensive program, reduced lamprey populations by 90%. Prevention is the key. Boaters and anglers are encouraged to clean their equipment and prevent the spread of lampreys between water bodies. What is the point, though? They're already in every waterway. So if one of them gets from this lake to this lake, and there's still like thousands of them in each lake, who gives it F? Like, this stuff is just like rules for rules' sake. I could see if they hadn't made it to all the lakes and spread like freaking everywhere, but it really does not matter now if one of them squeaks over from one lake to another. Inflicting considerable damage, blah, blah. They weren't even there last month, I swear. So there's all these other, like, let's see. Lamprey, native to North America. Because there's Pacific lamprey, and they didn't say that those were invasive. That's ours. Alaska to Baja California, Mexico. Occupies streams and rivers. Like all of them. Another species, the sea lamprey, is also native to North America. Alright. Okay. So the Pacific lamprey then is not considered invasive. It's just local. I'm sure there's going to be a bajillion more of these creepy things. I mean, you know there are. Alright, so anyway, that there are freshwater ones and they bite humans. Because, like, we don't have enough icky things. The only one thing I'll say is, I mean, they're not like total sharks. If you get bit on one, unless it gets your face or something, I mean, you can pull it off. It's gonna hurt. You probably won't have to go to the hospital or anything. I know. They said the Native Americans eat them. I'm like, okay, well, you could have them, but I know a Native American. I want to ask her if she ever ate lampreys as a native food. Proof of aliens possibly by Christmas, says experts. Experts. I don't know what kind of experts. Experts. There's a lot of joke about experts ever since the pandemic. There's a lot of experts said a lot of stuff, and none of it came true. No more oily, fatty foods. All right, how do they taste? Taste. They're probably going to say they're a delicacy like lobster. Let's see. Unique taste and texture. That's not a good sign. When they say unique, it usually means yucky. Similar to squid or scallops with a firm, chewy texture. The taste has been described as earthy or turf-like. That does not sound good. With a strong flavor that is less soft and fatty. Less soft. It actually sounds terrible. The lamprey bordelaise recipe involves a wine sauce. Has been described as delectable. And does not taste like either meat or fish. I don't know. Yeah. How to eat sea lamprey, the most hideous fish in the world. They have a different taste, like squid. They're not bad to stomach, okay? They're different. I don't see anybody saying yummy, these taste good, that's for sure. Sea lamprey doesn't taste like fish. It's like slow-cooked beefsteak. This is the reason people once enjoyed eating it. Meat was expensive. Oh, so you can like eat your beef without eating your beef? They say it's a delicacy. Hey, wait, okay, first, no talking. No talking. Alright, they're tiny. That's lamprey. It looks like chicken. Chimkins. I don't know. Maybe if they like slow cook it really good and then like bread it, just about anything could be made to taste good if you do it that way. I'm just tired of the yucky animals, the mandanimals I don't want. What we got around here, the mandanimals around here. Now, some of them are kind of cool, like those, they're not ferrets, but they look like ferrets. But I never even saw one with my own eyes, except for one dead one that the cat delivered. So I don't get a lot of pleasure out of those. But we got a bajillion cockroaches that fly, and in the summer they're everywhere now. And I used to not ever see cockroaches out at night, but they're in the summer they're everywhere. And they like the light, so instead of running away, they run into your building. So we got a bajillion cockroaches. We got these weird mosquitoes that come out during the day, and they like bite at your legs, and they're so fast you can't even see them, and you get a million bites, and they're super itchy. Okay, so I can live without that. Now we get these lampreys. I'm like, I am not loving the new timeline creatures that much. At least not most of the ones around here. Tastes like chewy dirt, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of chewy stuff and then earth-like. I'm like, yeah, no, and then they're not fatty. So, hey, no more oily, fatty foods. Okay, Jackie, then you're going to be eating these lampreys because they said they're not fatty. Yeah, I know, the cockroaches. They at least, if they're going to put in cockroaches, they should have them not want to come in the house. All over Arizona, they live out. So the ones that showed up here and have always been here, they actually favor light. And so if they see light, they run into your house. And like all the roaches I've ever seen in my whole life in California, they would run away from you. But these guys run at you. Like if you turn on the light, they come out. Like all the other roaches I've ever known, if you turn on the light, they'd all hide. But these are the reverse. They come towards you, and they fly, which is extra, and they're huge. They're like way bigger than the ones that we used to see. So they're all running around out there. Like, even in the old days, there were roaches, but they would hide under stuff. So if you were walking outside, you wouldn't see roaches just partying all over the street. They would be hiding under stuff. These guys, they're just running around like, I don't know what, everywhere. When I'm walking, I'll like, ew, what's that? It's like tiny frogs, but they're roaches. Once they get in here, you can't get rid of them, I swear. I had to put traps everywhere because I think I got them all, but I don't know. I'm paranoid they're going to get going in here because they run in through the doors and they go underneath the, and now that I got cat food in here, I saw one taking a giant kibble. Like, well, I mean, it's giant if you're a roach. It had a whole cat kibble and it was crawling away with it. Oh, this roach. It's like, oh, yeah, the cat kibble. There's food here all the time. And you know when the cats eat, like, little crumbs drop, it's hard to, like, keep all that totally clean. Yeah, so I'm just, like, crabby today or something. Ugh. All right, and the lampreys are not helping. I feel like complaining today. Okay, so we got the lampreys. I wish we didn't have them, but we do have them. So, Jackie, I was checking out Australia. And now I'm like, we were just talking about the Great Barrier Reef, wasn't this? I mean, like, I don't remember seeing this dark crap, like, on the map. So, sure enough, that's the Great Barrier Reef now. So, I remember the Barrier Reef being a reef. But now apparently the barrier reef is like hundreds of reefs. It's a reef system, and it's kind of creepy because it looks like some kind of weird backbone or something. I mean, if you look at it, it's like an animal backbone. But so there's like 100 reefs and like a bajillion islands in here, and all of this is the Great Barrier Reef. Should be the Great Barrier Reefs. I noticed this thing right here coming up real close to Australia too. These things are getting real close. These circle. I bet this is going to turn into a big circle thing too, because that's what they're coming up, and then like there'll be a ring, and then there'll be a hole in the center, and that'll all be water, and then they're all like this one. This one, I bet you, it's going to fill in. Right now, there's hardly any beach, but it'll fill in, and then it'll get landing strips on it. I've been watching this happen all over the middle of the Pacific, but I hadn't seen any close to Australia like this. So these are just showing up now, and they're going to fill in. This one, these are youngins. So this will get thicker and thicker. Look at all these, so close. So you guys are going to get your little private islands right here. I mean, look at this in between. I almost thought that was that's about the size that New Zealand used to be, like year to year. But yeah, now it's down there. Okay, I almost thought that was New Zealand. Throwback from the past. I almost said in between New Zealand and Australia, but nope. Okay, so if you look at this, see, there's all the reef names. Harold's Reef, Nancy Foster Reef, Storm Reef, Ball Reef. A lot of these other ones probably have names too, for some reason. Pompeii. Oops. Goble, Chauvel, Southampton, Worland, Cole, Big Stevens, Bolton. These are all reefs here, every last one of these. Edgel, Square. One of them was Molar Reef. It's shaped like a molar. White Tip, Wacket, Hide. So, yeah, reefs. Kangaroo, tiger. All the way up here. So, they apparently now go from, which I don't remember this sticky outy part right here, which is a very scientific name. But yes, the it goes from the sticky outy part all the way up to like around here somewhere is now the Great Barrier Reef. It really is a barrier. Okay, so yeah, I was looking at that, and then I got distracted because of this. I don't remember Timor-Leste. Last time I looked at this, Timor-Leste? So it's East Timor, but apparently it's been Timor-Leste since like 2002. But I didn't get the memo because I don't remember seeing Leste recently at all. So there's weird divisions in here that are confusing. I'm gonna have to look this up. Like, what is this? And like, look at how long this thing is. The heck? This is so huge now. Wait, what does that say? Okay. It's just this. It's so long. Crazy town. This has gotten really long. This has gotten really, really big. This is interesting because I don't remember there, like this line here is weird. Totally straight then there and then. I thought it was more like or something like that before. It wasn't this. This out here. Anyways, yeah. Crazy town. Oof. You know, I often hear it said, and I had not heard this until about 6 or 7 years ago. They said, when lobsters, like, used to be that lobsters were not considered a delicacy, and they were just everywhere, and they were like a pest because there were lobsters everywhere. And so they started feeding them to prisoners in jails because they were a cheap source of fish protein. And it was considered a garbage meat. And then at some point, people started liking them. And I really wonder if maybe they really just did change in taste over time. And that's why people started liking them more. Because they taste good. And you don't have to tell me that they taste good for me to like them. I mean, if I closed my eyes and ate one, I would think it tasted good. So I'm just curious about that, because one of the early Mandelas I noticed that I used to go to this all-you-can-eat place all the time is that they have these the same lobsters all the time, but they have on the weekends all-you-can-eat lobster, and it's the same lobster. I noticed that the lobsters slowly morphed where their claws got longer and a little more color on the claws, and it just very gradually, first just one claw would be a little long, and then the next time you'd go, like 2 weeks later, more of the claws were long, and then, you know, they always had the same kind though, and if you looked it up, the pictures that describe that kind also changed. So, anyone heard of echidnas? I do remember echidnas for like a fair long time. I don't think I remember them as a child, but I'm hoping the giant spiders I run into will take care of the roaches. Spiders are getting bigger and they eat like mice now. Yeah, that's insane. It was one big reef. It wasn't hundreds of reefs. Let's see. I think they said it was like hundreds of reefs and like 70 islands or something like that. I noticed that they kind of gave up on the old, the Great Barrier Reef's going to go extinct in 10 years thing. After about 40 years of that, the world's largest coral reef system, composed of 2,900 individual reefs and 900 islands, stretching 1,400 miles. There was no way it was 1,400 miles. There's no way. A large part of the reef is protected by the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park. Okay, I just thought that that covered all of it, but no. Okay, so see, there's the sticky outy part all the way up to the top. So all of it is not covered in there. So maybe there's some more filling in. I bet you those weird circle things are going to end up being, well, they're either going to be volcanoes or coral reefs. Well, I guess we'll find out. The weird. Right, let's see. Close you. Well, let me look at the rest of the pictures. What's in here? Thunk. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Ah, okay. So these are going to be reef too, these circle things. Oh, they're still working on the bleaching, I guess, after all. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. Oh, they got a lot of cool stuff brewing over there in Australia. They're probably going to have creepy lampreys in there too, unfortunately. Gonna get a whole new country glitch next to your country. Well, all that stuff at the top, I don't remember all that. Like, you didn't have, like, when this stuff first showed up, it was only like this big. It was way smaller in Australia. Now it's ridiculous. I mean, Papua New Guinea wasn't huge like that. Oh, you know, I was looking at New Zealand too. So I kept looking to see if right around here, let me find it. Here it is. This is it, because I remember those two golf courses. I kept thinking right in here, it's going to cut in, right? And I'm watching it. And I do look often to see if that's still the most likely spot, because I keep thinking this piece is going to break off. And it's going to be 3 pieces instead of just 2, because that's just kind of how things go. And it really looked like it was gonna. So I've been watching here. Let's see. But I do watch other spots. And now I'm looking over here and I'm going, well, holy hand grenades. It looks like over here. I don't think this was this big. But now, because this is huge, and there's a river cutting in over here. So now it looks like, I was looking there, but it looks like this one is really, really, really vying for the title here all of a sudden. I mean, it was nowhere near before, but this goes through, and then does this count? Because there's a road over it. But it goes this way. And then I'm kind of following it. It really looks like it might continue through here, but it's kind of a questionable. Let's see, Green Bay. Okay, so is there an outlet in here? I can't tell because of all these trees. I'm trying to see if there's a spot where the river is flowing, and maybe there is in here, or maybe there's not. I don't really see one along here. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, because I'm kind of thinking maybe it's going to split there now. But then, up here, this one's also, I think, gotten a lot bigger. So I don't remember that. And so it might going to be doing it up here. Just because they split a divider up here where they're saying this is a different section than this of this island, so which showed up recently. But it looks like this river is really cutting in hard too. So this one through here, maybe it'll cut there. And if I have to really guess, I'm saying it's going to cut here just because there's already a divider there. Now, last time I looked at this, I was following this river, and you could see this weird thing where there would be a different color of dirt on one side from another of this line that was skittered across here. Now there is no line, and I cannot see the evidence of the difference, and like the river's all different now. So there's something's going on with that. Let's see. This is supposed to be from, oh, no date, you little stinkers. Oh, wait, 2015. Okay, yeah, so there's no way that it should have changed since it's a really old map. If they were going to update it, it shouldn't be 2015. Okay, so I'm thinking it'll split off right there. Right here, ooh, that's changed a lot. So this part here used to fit like a puzzle piece right into here, and it was pretty close, so it's been spreading out. But I had not seen that this grown this thingy in here. Bunch of islands, as is typical. I wonder if they have anything on them. There's a road. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure when all this showed up. I think it's pretty new, though, because this used to puzzle piece right onto here. And also this is fairly new. These are showing up all over the world, these weird things. What are they calling those? There was a word for it. Now I can't remember. I'm going to have to learn that word because they're showing up everywhere. God, this is such a weird world. Yep, every land bit has way more sticky outy bits. Virginia Beach is now in the southeast lower corner, and Norfolk is now more south. My father lived in Australia for 15 years in the 80s and 90s, but when I called about the shift, he had shifted with it, and it was strange. Yeah, I totally know what you mean, though. Like, people I've known for 20 years in the old timelines, and then I'll ask them, and they don't remember Arctica or any of the stuff that I remember. But then I think about them, like, did we ever discuss Arctica 20 years ago? I don't know if I discussed it in the whole 20 years that I knew them. So maybe we were always in a different timeline and I didn't ask. I don't know, though, but other things change, like the history of their medical history and stuff. So there are definitely changes in their memories from when I knew them before. The UFO aliens hijacked us from the real Earth and put us in this Orion replica. The thing that gets me, though, is it's not like it just suddenly changed. It sneaks along. So if you just took someone and plopped them here, it should just be different. It shouldn't just magically morph. Well, the art here isn't as good. I know it's not. It's not good. At least not the popular art. Like, I mean, they'll be like, oh, this sold for $10 million, and it's somebody taped a banana on the wall. And I'm like, what? What? And I mean, I know the story now that is really just money laundering and stuff. Art is money laundering. But, I mean, like, at least try to make it look good. But then I go on, like, Reddit, and somebody will say, ooh, I drew this by hand, and it's, like, absolutely freaking amazing. And yet the stuff that supposedly sells at the art gallery is crap, and I don't know what, everything is like opposite land. Can you go through all the changes you've seen in people? There's not enough time for that. I mean, like, most of them don't remember much of my stuff anymore. They look different. Some of them thought my name was Eva. Like, some of the ones I didn't know as well, like their whole family and stuff. I think I finally retrained them again that it is Eva, but there was apparently I was Eva or something for a long time, because a whole bunch of people thought my name was Eva. That went on for years. I had to retrain them all, and a lot of them looked really confused that my name is not Eva. Eva is a popular name here. I have never freaking even heard of it until I got here. I'm trying to think. I mean, like, where do I even start? Medical histories of everybody change. Like Dave, he never used to get allergies, and then one day he's all, oh, I got, my allergies are bugging me, and I'm like, what allergies? So yeah, he has allergies, and a lot of them too. According to him, he's always had them. I'm like, no, you didn't. He used to joke all the time about danger, Will Robinson, like the joke that used to be in Lost in Space. And then one day I made the joke and he had no idea what I was talking about because it was a different him. And that reality had disappeared from the show. The robot never did danger, Will Robinson. So I guess he shifted with the reality, or he got the download. I don't know, but I did the joke and he had no idea what I was talking about. I'm like, he used to make the joke that he was an alien from Europa, because he's kind of a little bit weird sometimes, and so sometimes he'd just say, well, what could I say? I'm from Europa, and we go ha ha ha, and he liked that joke. And then one day I made that joke and he just looked a little offended, and I'm like, that's our joke, and nope. That him did not know that joke, never heard of it before. Now he doesn't like that joke. So there's just lots of stuff like that. I don't even know where to start. Yeah, Vivian, you noticed it. There's like amazing stuff. Now you could say maybe some of the Reddit stuff is fake, but some of it, they show the whole process and everything. So I'm pretty sure at least some of that really good stuff is legit. And I've also seen some really amazing stuff on Etsy, like some tile work and stuff. And they show the whole process, and it's tile work, so it wasn't made by like AI. And this was like a few years ago before AI was really kicking. So I know it's not AI. And that guy is amazing, and he should have his stuff in the museums. But no, we just have crap in the museums. It seems like these days the main requirement for being in the museums is that you can spin an imaginative yarn about how this ink blot is symbolic of the inner angst of the generations due to the sporadic nature of existence or something. You just have to spin some kind of bull crap. And I've noticed that there's absolutely like a lot of tattoo artists that are just atrocious. Like they just look like 5-year-old scribblers. I mean, I'm not even kidding when I say that at 5 years old I could do a better job. And then they just write this whole bullcrap story about how it's art. And then what gets me is that in this timeline, so many people go, wow, really? Ooh. So it just seems like people follow a lot more or something. They don't go, no, this is ugly. I don't know. You could say anything, and if you sound confident, a big chunk of people will believe you. I don't like AR. I kind of like AI art. Not all of it, but it is kind of my style. But, I mean, I'm sure it'll get old fast because there's just that one look. And I also just like it because now any schmuck can, like myself, can just have a custom piece done up and use it. Like I made some stickers for something that I sell. I just went to AI and said, a picture of a mosasaur with his jaws open in the ocean. Boom. Made a bunch of options. I pick one, grab it, upload the artwork, and have the sticker made. Boom. Now, that would have been a big old difficult thing in the past, but I've never heard of your name till I got... You never heard of Eva? Yeah, see, I picked... So Eva is a kind of a portion of my full name, and I picked it because it was a very easy to remember name that no one would mess up. So that's the irony, that now everybody messes it up, because my full name was one that people would mess up. So I'm like, all right, this is because I was in business, right? It's just a hassle to have to keep correcting people. And a lot of these people I'm not going to meet again. And oh, should I correct them or just let them say it wrong? So I just like, I'll pick this short version of my name that everybody could say. Nobody's going to get confused because there's only one. It's like John, right? There's only one way to say John. So like it was like that. But now, nope. Oh, nope. I ain't changing it, but it just, the irony. Yeah, so like the pronunciation of my full first is actually a little unusual, even in this timeline, I think, but everyone know. Yeah, see, you know, that's the thing. You have friends, you have jokes that go way back, and then you make the joke, and they're like, what are you even talking about? I'm like, we've been making this joke for 15 years. What do you mean, what am I talking about? And then, like, now, like, one of my other friends, she'll say, like, oh, did you ever finish blah, blah? I'm like, what are you even talking about? I didn't do that. Yeah, you did. I'm like, so I kind of know now. I'm like, oh, I don't argue with her. You know, I think if I didn't know about the Mandela, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? And she'd be like, well, what's wrong with you? Because we're both confident in our memories, right? But I know that it's probably Mandela, so I just, oh, I must have forgot. Yeah. A couple of former coworkers got into tattooing, and they are terrible. Yeah, you can buy a $40 tattoo machine on Amazon now, complete with ink and everything. And you can only imagine how bad quality these teens are getting it, and just starting on their legs writing. It's bad. They better hope that new, improved ways to remove tattoos come up soon. I do sometimes feel kind of sick, yeah, because I don't know, it's hardest when it's people. I think it would be a lot easier to deal with if, you know, it'd be way easier to deal if there was two things. One, if people didn't change, if their memories didn't change. Like, one of my friends, a lot of the Mandelas, like, he sees them, like, he remembers it my way, but he goes, I must have forgot. I can deal with that, okay? He doesn't trust his memory. He didn't have a really good memory, but he still remembered it like I did. He just doesn't trust it. I can deal with that. But when they change to a whole nother person, sort of, it's just disturbing, and I really don't like that part. So there's that. And then the other thing is that, so few people see the same Mandelas anymore. When we first started this, we'd all, like, there'd be maybe not everybody saw my Mandela, but there'd be a huge bunch of people that saw almost every one of my Mandelas. Like Arctica, there were so many people who knew about the Arctica Mandela. So I miss that. And I think it'd be a lot easier if we were more of a group. We had a lot of Mandelas in common, like before, and that people didn't change. I think those two are the things that really suck. Unquestioning sheeple syndrome. Yeah, and just kind of like, even people I knew who were very intellectual before and would be like, well, that sounds ridiculous. You know, I don't even say it can't happen if something sounds ridiculous now, because who knows? Everything is ridiculous, right? But I mean, if somebody just says, Obama is a gray alien, okay? I haven't seen any evidence that he's a gray alien. I can't say he's not, but I'm not going to run around and just say, you're right, he's a gray alien, for sure. I mean, look at him. He has a creepy face, right? I'm not going to just go, this must be the truth, based on, like, nothing. And that's what a lot of people do now, and it's just weird to me. I'm like, what? You know, like, at least wait for some evidence to show up, you know? And like, every day's like that now. Maybe he'll turn out he is a gray alien, but I'm not sold just yet, you know? Very possibly you've moved away from a different version of someone who has no solid version of. All right, that sentence is a little confusing, my friend. Yeah, I need to see some kind of evidence. I mean, I don't know if there's anything such as truth anymore in a way, but still, it's still weird for me that people would just run with, like, based on, like, nothing, you know, or some TikTok. I'm like, that's just somebody claiming it. But TikTok and, well, I mean, it's not that YouTube is so reliable, but TikTok is extra bad. And there's people on there, and now they have these AI things where they just invent stuff. Like, they'll say, Ozzy Osbourne actually killed his wife and replaced her with a double, and then, or some weird thing. And there's all invented, and half the stories, you know, when you find out that, no, his wife's still alive. You know, I mean, like, there's people, it just, so that's getting really bad with the AI fakes, because they'll just make up something. Odessa has been taken over by Russia, and you look it up, and no, they did not take over Odessa currently, you know, just stuff like that. So you got to be so careful. You have to check every last thing. I was floating in the air every time I close my eyes. Sleeping has become a weird thing. Huh. Yeah, it sounds like an out-of-body travel kind of thing. I used to kind of do that some in the 90s. I was like, that was like the first weird paranormal thing I actually got into. Hopefully you're getting like enough rest. I mean, that's the important part. Hopefully, at least if you feel kind of rested. The whole west side of the top of Canada changed, and now there's an island blocking Greenland from becoming the new Arctica. Let's check that out. Didn't I just have Google Earth up? Yes. It's funny you said that, because I was just looking at the North Pole. See, I've tagged it from earlier, because I was trying to figure out what was going on with Iceland. Because Iceland's getting slowly more icy. It didn't used to have a big white patch. And of course, Greenland used to be all white, and now it's, you know, it's what? I mean, that's not a lot. 15% not ice, and this is 15% ice, but still, there's been a 15% change. So I was trying to see, okay, this is the North Pole. Is the North Pole the coldest region? So they kind of had a thing now going where the equator now is not the hottest, it's just to the sides of the equator. So maybe there'll be kind of a shtick where the North Pole isn't the coldest, but like a ring around it is the coldest. And if it does something like that, then we could get Iceland being really cold. Of course, Sweden is going to have some problems, but maybe all these will shift around a little bit if this is accurate. So I'm like looking at this going, okay, if this is truly the center, but there's only ice here and not there, but then there's ice way down there, it makes it look like this is the coldness center here, right? Like right around here, maybe? And it's kind of oblong, you know? And this is supposed to be a globe, so there shouldn't be any of that map questions that they usually, what do they call that? The so what up with this? Then it's all icy there, but it's not. I'm sure there's some kind of story that has to do with currents and stuff, but I'm like really suspicious of all that now, really. Okay, so it basically means that I think it's very easy for there suddenly to be a story of why Iceland gets icy. You know, when this first showed up, it was all white too, and it's not. Canada used to be all white. So I was watching a show on Russia, and they were talking about Sochi area. I guess the guy happened to be visiting. I don't know if he lives there or not, because I haven't watched enough of his shows, but basically, okay, so Sochi is like around there-ish. Let me see, I'll find the exact one. Doink. There. Okay. That's close enough. All right. It was around here. It was, so like Krasnodar area is here. And so this Russian dude was visiting somewhere in Krasnodar. So it was around here. And he was saying that before you couldn't grow persimmons, but now it's been so warm for years that you can grow these persimmons. And just stuff like that. It was just interesting, though, because officially, I haven't seen any official historical data about this heating up so much that suddenly you can grow whole new trees. And that wasn't like a super young tree. It wasn't just the last few years. But in the memory of the people there, including himself, they remember it being too cold to grow these trees. But yet now it's not. But if you look at the global changes, you can see that the ice is just receding way more than global warming of 2 degrees, because this all was white and now it's not. And this was white, and even here was very white. So in this area, the UK, they used to say, had this special current that is warm and keeps it from getting too icy. But see, it used to be way out here, and now it's in here. So pretty soon, it'll just snuggle up into Europe and just have Europe's weather anyways. And then you won't need a special current excuse for it. So yeah, I don't know. It just seems interesting that it's sort of like that Krasnodar memories are sort of a Mandela, it seems like. Now, obviously, I'd really need to research it way better to really lock that in as fact, but it's just interesting that I see that kind of stuff all the time, where we were talking about this, how big this is getting, the secondary ones coming around. The Black Sea used to be more bean-shaped. Yep. Oh, sticky outy part. The upper right. Let's see. Okay. First of all, I need to reset the north. I don't know why, but my brain just can't talking about this. Okay. We've been tracking this. This was smaller, and then there was just, it looked like this for a while, and then it just like, it solidified into, it looks like a giant fist with a finger pointing at Russia too, which is ironic. Like, yeah. And it got these things, and it's gotten a lot bigger. This was just, I think I've talked before about, I remember this being over here, and there was like a little bridge here, and it wasn't yet. Now this has gotten really fat. This is breaking off. What's the attribution on this? All right, date. Why do you not give it to me? I hate it when it won't. There it is, 2015. Yeah, this is crazy. So there was a while when I looked at this, and there was all these circle things, and they were the kind of crops where they, I've seen them. There's like, how do I even describe this? There's like one center point, and then there's a long watering thing that like goes around in a circle like a clock, like the hand on a clock. And so it just makes these giant circle patterns over and over. And there used to be a whole bunch more of these. Now, well, there's still some. Okay, actually, there's a lot. All right, this is interesting though, because I used to see them way out here, but now they look small. You know what I'm thinking? Either these circles are smaller, or this land mass got bigger. Because it used to be, when I looked at it here, I could see them, and now I can't. This is from 2000. Okay, this one is from 2021. Wait. How come it keeps changing? This says 1/1/21. Out here is 2015. That's 2015. All right. So that's 2021. So still, this is not updated for 4 years, and I was just looking at this a couple months ago. So the circles, I should still be able to see them. I'm thinking this area just got like way bigger or something. This is interesting. Okay. Yeah, either the circles got smaller or this territory got much larger. Belarus keeps sneaking around. It was way over here. Or maybe Ukraine is slithering this way. I can't quite figure it out. Oh, there's another thing over, I think it was here. Wait, where was that again? It's that extra Russian area. It's called it's an exclave of Russia. And the story behind it was, it's here. Okay, so there's a chunk of Russia in here. And it's interesting because they don't show it. They show a lot of lesser accepted exclaves, but not, I don't know if it officially is an exclave, but it is a piece. Transnistria. That's it. That's Transnistria. Nist. I think that's the spelling. I think I put an extra S in there. Nope, that should be right. Transnist. Yes, it is correct. To-doop. There. So you see it is here on the side of Moldova, but yet when you come on here, they don't show it. So when the war first started in Ukraine, that was up here. Transnistria was a chunk up like in this area, and they showed it on the map. And there was kind of a story that Russia was trying to get like to close the gap between here to there, and that was their theory. And they failed to make it to Transnistria, and Transnistria is basically sitting there minding its own business, pretending it doesn't know anything. And who knows even know what's going on. But now Transnistria up there is way over here, except for it's not on the map. And see what they have to say about it today. The Pridnestrovian Moldovan Republic, landlocked breakaway state, internationally recognized. Oh, okay, so it's part of Moldova. Okay, maybe that's why it's not on the map now, because it's a little more complicated. As part of a ceasefire agreement, a three-party Moldova, Russia, and Transnistria Joint Control Commission peacekeeping force were created to deal with ceasefire violations. The political status remains unresolved. It's a de facto independent semi-presidential republic with its own government. Okay, so it's not part of Russia anymore. Okay, I get it. All Transnistrian companies seeking to export goods through Ukraine must be registered with Moldovan authorities. Abkhazia and South Ossetia is a post-Soviet frozen conflict zone, these three parties. So basically, that it's, if I remember right from earlier this week, it's basically controlled by Russia right now. Okay, let's see. Was established in hopes that would remain with the Soviet Union should Moldova seek reunification with Romania. The latter occurred shortly afterwards. A military conflict between the two parties started and concluded with a ceasefire. Okay, so that actually is another thing that I saw. Derp. Just forgot. Here. Now there's two sections. So I remember this section to the side of Moldova last time I looked was kind of a somewhat disputed territory. They wanted to break away, and then Georgia said, no, you can't go. And then Russia says, okay, we'll help you. And so they're sort of in Russia, but they're technically autonomous. And there's like a whole peacekeeping force thing. But there's been a lot of nasty violence on both sides of the fence over here between these people and the Georgians. And the Georgians blame the Russians, but these people say it's Georgia's fault. And it was just ugly, okay? But there was just the one, and then like I looked this week and now there's two of them, and this is the second one is Ossetia, and that's similar to this one. Now this one also broke away from Georgia, and it's the same story again, and that one I don't think was there. So there's Ossetia, and now apparently Transnistria did it over here, but for whatever reason it doesn't get put on the map. And then because see, over here they're dotting it in, but over here they're not. And I'm just wondering if it's because Transnistria just slithers all over freaking Ukraine, wherever it's going to be. And it might be somewhere else next week. So they don't put it in so you don't notice when it's slithering around. Because then this is part of Russia up here also. Like a regular part, not a disputed part. You'd think that they would write Russia in there or something. I keep wondering if this is going to change, because this is so bizarre that there's a separate chunk in here. Like, why don't they just write that as Russia? Look at it, it's so far away. Looks like it's getting bigger, too. So, yeah, strange times. So one of the other things that was bugging me is I was looking at Sochi, and there's so much more stuff on there now. Like I looked at it like 6 months ago and I'm like, wow, there's not much going on in Sochi considering a whole Olympics was there, and it's nice weather and stuff. And for some reason, one of the nicest places weather-wise in Russia didn't have much infrastructure, considering, you know, you would think like in the United States, the nicest weather states are like packed, like everybody's like, I'm gonna go live where the weather's good, you know. You would think Russia, it would be like that, but it's not, and that kind of was bizarre to me. And so I went over there and I looked, and there's like so much more stuff there all of a sudden. And let me see. Actually, I should check to see. I think I did check, and the map was not. So last time when I looked at that, there was a few things that were clearly there for the Olympics, and a little bit of town, but it wasn't all the way through. And now there's like these million red roofs, and so this is kind of weird to me. All right, so it's from 1 year ago. All right, 1 year and 2 months. And I've definitely looked at it like a few months ago. So I don't know how all that stuff suddenly was there. Okay, maybe, you know, I don't know. Maybe I was looking at something from 2015 and now I'm looking at something from 2024. Maybe, but I don't know. Strangeness. The other thing is all the buildings I saw before for the Olympics, I can't find them now. It did say Olympic this and Olympic that on a bunch of it, so I don't think it could have been like that old an image I was looking at. This whole thing looks different. All these roofs. All these red roofs. It's bizarre to me. They must really like red roofs. So I'm like, if you go live there, will it all magically be changing around you if you went to a place that was really shifty like that? Or will you just somehow not end up at a place that's really shifty? Transnistria is a weird place. Yeah. Now you got to kind of elaborate. Come on, you can't tease us like that. Can't eat sugar, and sugary stuff for some years gives me a headache. If you don't eat sugar, then you can really, like, your taste buds really get sensitized to it. I've definitely noticed that. It's like eating sugar kind of kills the taste buds, and then if you stop, suddenly ordinary fruits taste way better. There's no frozen yogurt in Spain, huh? You can't order any in, I take it. There's no Amazon Spain. Yeah, those... Yeah. You were saying there was an ice cream that you thought was Buffalo Bill, and now it's Bubbalo Bill. They're different enough that you should hear it with your ears that it is not Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill does not sound enough like Buffalo Bill. It does feel like a troll, doesn't it? However, unfortunately, I have never heard of either of them, so I can't help you on that. You've got all this stuff, these names of foods in Australia, we just don't have them. Never even heard of Transnistria before 2023. I first heard of it at the beginning of the war in Ukraine. So that was news for me back then. And I looked into it. And one of the things is they had that map. And they're like, this is the map of the plans of Russia. And I never really trusted it because both sides are lying their pants off. And so if Zelensky comes in and says, I have the secret map and we found it in the dirt and this is it, and I'm like, anybody could have drawn that. So I don't really trust him. But now that map is not, it's different because Transnistria is not there. Why would anybody put all World War II stuff in a place outside their country and control it and make it target for other countries? What are we talking about? Are we talking about how Russia got their stuff bombed? Because the reason that all those bombers were out unprotected in Russia is because Russia has a treaty with the United States where all bombers that can carry nukes will be visible to satellites so that we can all track everybody's bomber locations. And so and we are supposed to do the same thing. Like all our bombers that can carry nukes are supposed to be visible to Russia's satellites so that we both know that neither side is like loading them up with nukes and getting ready to bomb us. That was part of the deal. Now that deal expires in a couple months, and that is why Russia had all of their big bombers out sitting visible in known locations that were easy to find. However, I have a feeling that they were not going to re-up that particular treaty with the United States after Ukraine used that for target practice. I don't remember Armenia having a border with Iran. It was all USSR before and then became Azerbaijan and Russia. Turkey. Yeah, you know, remember we were talking about this weird little chunk here? I swear that's gotten bigger since last time we looked. Hope you can see it on there. Azerbaijan. I'm trying to remember if I even remember this weird pokey part here. I've been kind of watching this area too because I swear it looks like Russia's just pushing down. Like it just seems like I thought Sochi was more, and it just seems like there's more sticking down, like the feet of Russia. This foot sticks down further or something. Like Russia gets more and more space along the Black Sea all the time. And maybe part of it is because this thing grew in, but... So yeah, a lot going on in here. Turkey's been a big... Turkey's getting really big. Look at that. Because it has all... Where is the line over here? Greece used to have all the islands, but it looks like Turkey has all the islands now. Like, all the islands are flooding. Greece is, like, getting chewed, and it's floating over to Turkey's side. I mean, look at it. There was way more Greece and way less Turkey before. That's crazy. I don't remember this little bay either. Cyprus is very much going to visit Turkey too. It was like out here more like separate. Okay, yeah. Anyway, that's crazy in here. There's just this whole area. Wherever stuff is going on, keep an eye on it, because I swear it gets more shifty. All this weird business with Azerbaijan, like having a cow over some little thing that happened in Russia. I think that is some kind of a plan by the West to just harass Russia, because it was a minor thing that happened in here, and then suddenly all of Azerbaijan is furious over it. It looks very manufactured. It's very weird. Maybe in some other timeline we'll get to, it'll suddenly make more sense, but... I keep looking to see if more of these stans show up. I keep hearing about Dagestan, and like Dagestan is in Russia right now, and it's just like a section of Russia, but I'm wondering if maybe that'll be the next stan, because I keep hearing about Dagestan. Suddenly there'll be like a little tiny country called Dagestan. We keep getting these stands as people are calling them. See like what's going on in here. Let's see, that's... Oh, is that part that Pakistan and India are arguing over? Might be. You know, it'd be helpful if Google Earth would label this stuff. How to order... Well, Amazon has frozen yogurt here. I just don't know if they would ship it to you. Like, I can order frozen yogurt and they'll deliver it, but... I don't know. Maybe they won't because they don't have any in your area. Like, there must be a warehouse here that they're shipping it from, right? I was looking at the salt packets at the cafe, and the salt has dextrose in it. There's sugar and so much stuff. Must be hard for diabetics. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much is in there. If there's just like a pinch, I don't think it's really going to matter that much, but... Transnistria is the ammo depot of World War II. Is it? Wait a minute. All right, that's the history. Let's see. History. So there was a more plain one before, and it was more like when it was up over to the east more, it was like, well, that area couldn't really decide if it wanted to separate, and it decided not to separate from Australia, but all the rest of Ukraine wanted to separate, so that just stayed Russian, but it was sort of like they couldn't quite decide, so it had its own name, but it was basically Russia. That was the story. So apparently now there was like fighting and stuff. I don't know. Secession. Led to informal movements. The Popular Front of Moldova. See, I don't remember any of this stuff. It was other... But, you know, in my timeline, Russia had control, like total control of Poland. And now they, you know, they didn't really. They had a lot of control, but it wasn't. Basically, Poland had to get... freedom from Russia during this whole perestroika breakup thing where they finally got to be independent. They weren't independent before that in my timeline, but in this timeline they were always, even though heavily influenced, they were still technically officially independent. Transnistria's ethnic and linguistic composition differed significantly from most of Moldova. The proportion of ethnic Russians and Ukrainians was especially high in an overall majority of the population. Some of the Moldovans spoke Russian as their mother tongue. So nationalist PFM won free elections. PMSSR was proclaimed as a Soviet republic by an ad hoc assembly. Following a successful referendum, violence escalated in 1990 when the PFM called for volunteers to form armed militias to stop an autonomy referendum in Gagauzia. What in the hell? Gagauzia, the autonomous territory of Gagauzia, is an autonomous territorial unit of Moldova. That's a different one? Wait a minute. So what, there's a whole bunch of these that aren't even on the map. So, oh, there's another one down here. There's the autonomous Gagauzia. Sovereign state. What in the hell? Officially autonomous territorial unit of Gagauzia. Its autonomy is intended for the local Gagauz people, a Turkic-speaking, primarily Orthodox Christian ethnic group. I feel like that somebody just made up all these names. Bessarabia, previously the eastern half of Moldova, was annexed by the Russian Empire. All of Bessarabia, including Gagauzia, was annexed by the Kingdom of Romania. A Soviet invasion and occupation in 1940, blah, blah, blah. In 1990, Gagauzia declared itself independent from Moldova. During the dissolution of the Soviet Union, I sure as heck don't remember any of that, but was ultimately reintegrated into Moldova in 1995. Okay, so now it's not independent, but why is it saying it is? All right, history, blah, blah, blah. Support for the Soviet Union remained high in Gagauzia. In 1994, the Parliament of Moldova awarded the people of Gagauzia the right of external self-determination. Well, that was nice of them. Okay. Communes with over 50% ethnic Gagauz held referendums where a simple majority was required to join the autonomous region. Communes with fewer Gagauz could have referendums if they were requested by 1/3 of the population. 3 towns and 26 communes were included. Gagauzia voted 94% against the wording, "Do you support the amendment of the Constitution with a view to the accession of the Republic of Moldova to the European Union?" So Gagauzia did not want to be in the EU by 94%. It sounds like they're still separate then. Okay, if they're separate, how come that doesn't show on the... I mean, if they're officially separate and they were allowed to be separate, how come it doesn't show... I don't know. Gagauzia. How do you pronounce that again? G-A-G-A-U-Z. Wait, come on. Wait. Alright, so now it shows it. That was useful. Okay, interesting. So Moldova's got a lot going on. And who knows what else is in there? Transnistria over here. Gagauzia over here. What's left of Moldova? Somebody let me know. Because that's a pretty big chunk. It's all... What, there's 1, 2, 4 pieces? Alright. I don't even know what to say. Have you seen the Harda Dam volcano? Harda Dam volcano in Yemen. Oh, I didn't know Angels Don't Fall was fluent Russian. That's cool. I guess a lot of that side of the world speaks Russian, so it'd be pretty useful if you wanted to travel through there. Like, a lot of places speak Russian and then their own language, too. If you spoke, like, Spanish, Russian, and English, you'd cover a lot of territory. Maybe the only other one left is China. That's a weird-looking volcano. Doesn't even look... I have not seen that thing. That looks so fake. It looks... I have not seen this. This is interesting. Harda, damn it. Damn it? DM. Okay, now that can't be the whole name. Right, wait, where am I? I'm here. Is it? Clearly photoshopped. If not... Okay, maybe it is photoshopped? I don't know. Well, it looks legit on that one. See, that guy's like, no way, that's real. Because it looks photoshopped. Okay, I get it. I get what he's saying. I do see why it's fishy looking. Let's just see what... Volcano and yeah. Facebook. Where's the wiki? Harda volcano. Let's just try Harda then. Volcano in Yemen. Give me the wiki, guys. Is it so fresh that we don't get a wiki? Because if you have that weird a volcano, you should have a wiki for it. Hara. Oh, maybe it's Hara. Hara. Or of Arhab. Let's see if that's it. Well, that's neat looking, but it's different. Alright, are we sure it's Harda? Wait, now. I wouldn't say fluent, but I can get it. That's still cool, though. Yeah, I was kind of looking into Russia. Man, it does not look like it's that easy because of all those conjugations, like 10 bajillion. I guess you could just chop through it, and if you conjugated wrong, they'd still know what you were talking about anyways, even though you just sounded kind of bad. Yeah, okay. This is damped. Damped. So it is damped. The Yemen is also where the Well of Hell crater is. That's funny because somebody was saying it must be Photoshop. I understand the sentiment. Damn. Alright. Except for I can't find it. What's going on here? Damped volcano. Damped Yemen volcano. Haras of Damar. How come we're not finding this thing? Volcanic crater in the middle of Hammam. Alright, that looks like it's it, though. How can that not be... Volcanic crater in the middle of the city. And what, we don't even have a decent name for it, and we don't have a wiki? This must be like hot off the Mandela presses or something. Wait, do we have, alright. See if we can go down there. Can we go down there? No. Okay. Volcão de Damar. Maybe we can go over here on Google and check this thing out. Dhamar. Dhamar volcano. Shoink. Alright, it looks like it's this guy here. Yeah. There we have it. Alright, now can we go down there? There are spots. Loop. Alright, we don't want to see you. Alright. Trying to get a feel for how it looks like, maybe here. Oh, it's really just not giving me a flair for it. It's, yeah, it is in the middle of a city. I wonder if you can see it from over here. Can't really tell which is which. Okay, well, I don't know. This is interesting because there's like no good angles, which I find highly suspicious. Like maybe it's not done developing over there yet. I can't see it from there. And you can't see crap from up here. There's a couple of fishy... There should be a... You know, if it really looks that cool... There should be like 100 awesome photos of that. I'm writing it down so I put it on my notes later. Instead, I found like one and people questioning if it was Photoshop. Yet, it does look like that's it. It's got those same kind of roots things. It's got that same weirdly circular pattern. So if shown from a different angle, trying to see if the 3D, it just doesn't satisfy, does it? Nope. You only need English. I think it depends on where you go. I've heard they don't speak a ton of like English in like Sochi. And if I'm going anywhere, it's going to be in a warm area.
The volcano of Damned.
Whoop. Okay. That really does look like it. It's just the 3D over there, it didn't look that tall, but you can't really trust the 3D.
Is a sizable.
Quiet. I'm gonna shut up this whole... TikTok is so irritating sometimes. But you can't click over here.
Something you could see on another world.
Yeah, there. I silenced it up there. That might not be from the same place. Lake of hot sulfur? What the heck? Such a common houses. See, you don't even know if this is real is the problem. These things on TikTok, sometimes they just invent it. Like, they see a cool image and they just, oh, and then an alien jumped out of the, on 1975, there's an image of whatever, or whatever. You know, I mean, like, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Looks like a cut-it-in-half tree. It is very cool looking. I do find it strange that I have not seen an image of it. Whatever you want to say it is. And you know the people who say that there was giant trees, they should have been all over that image. I saw a picture from the side. It didn't seem that tall. Yeah, that's one thing I hate about TikTok is it's really hard to shut it up because every time you click on it, it starts yapping again. The internet says it last erupted in 1937, but there's no photos. Yeah, so I think they just grabbed an eruption image from online. Burning the ME pie. Yeah, it's still cooking in the oven. It hasn't risen, the dough hasn't risen fully on that volcano yet. Type 2 in the chat if you're a human being human. Type 9 in the chat if you are a half robot, half alien hybrid.gov classified experiment. Well, I don't think there's going to be too many 9s. As far as I know about what a human is, that is me. Sometimes I'm not even sure what a human is. TikTok calls it damped. Huh. This is weird. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's Damar. I mean, it really does look like that. So, I don't know. The 3D thing is kind of weird, though, because if you do my house on 3D, it's sort of warped and... I don't know. Volcano Horus of Damara. Let's just try it one more time. Damar. I hope I got that right. No. Yes. There is an H. Images. How come no side views? The heck? That's that same one. Do we not have any other angles? All right, let's see here. It's not very helpful. Doesn't really look like it because there's no city around there. Yeah, this one might not be done cooking. There's only this one image. Nobody knows where it came from. Let's see if we can remember to go back to it. What is this? Nice. These are showing up everywhere. It looks like Cyrillic. Now it wants money, so no, we're not doing that. Yeah, you know, this is weird. It should have its own wiki. It's cool enough looking. It's in the middle of a city. It's pretty big. Okay, here we go. Horus of Damar. Oh. Right after I said it should have its own wiki, I get like one paragraph. Volcanic field south of Damar town contains stratovolcanoes, lava flows, youthful cones, and basaltic lava flows. The volcano is responsible for the only 20th century eruption on the Arabian Peninsula, apparently in 1937. This is weird because it's talking about multiple different ones, and then it says the volcano. It's like a very stupid AI wrote this. Apparently in 1937, south of Yemen's capital, Sana'a. Huh. Yeah, this one really feels uncooked. It's interesting, though. Will I ever do an open panel? I did do one once. I don't do a lot of those because there was so much infighting in the community. And then if you go to an open panel with that guy and then you don't know about it, that guy's fighting with that guy, now that guy decides you're an enemy of them and you don't even know who that guy is. And then somebody you never even heard of that's really weird wants you to do an open panel because you did it with this other guy, and then there's no time, and then you have to say no, and then it just becomes such a big pain in the butt. So I did it with iMac once because I figured they're the top people, so, but I haven't really done it since then. Half-baked Emmys start with one paragraph. And I couldn't find the Emmy, I couldn't find the wiki, like I tried 3 times, and then finally it went, bloop, here's one tiny, really lame paragraph that doesn't make sense. Instagram is asking European to either pay money and be ad-free or agree to give them all the info voluntarily, plus your firstborn to use Instagram. You know, I've never really gotten along with Instagram that well, and every time I hear another thing, I'm like, I ain't gonna try. They're kind of on the way out now because TikTok is hot anyways. Oh, Gates of Hell. Is that burning pit? That gate of hell? Or is it a different gate of hell?
The volcano of...
Oh, no, that's the one we already did. Okay. That burning pit that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, it was only like the size of a house when I first saw that pit. Very bizarre. New, okay, I'm clicking on, oops, retracted. Gates of Hell is closing. Okay, so, we got rid of you. Timor-Leste, I don't even know how to say it. Showed up. Okay, Google Earth, I think that's done. I think I had a few other ones. Barrier Reef. Oh, man, see, look, I've only been talking about like 2 things and we're already done. Oh, that, yes, that's creepy. Like, we have time for that. Okay. I have never heard this, but... And it's ironic because I just bought some. Right before I heard of this, I had bought this like the day before. This one I think is pasteurized, so I should be okay. Apple cider vinegar. Okay. Apparently... And I'm really suspicious about this, but then I wasn't an apple cider vinegar expert, but yet still it is bizarre. But apple cider vinegar with the mother You have to admit it's weird. I'm not saying it's a Mandela, but you have to say it is the mother. Okay, so the mother apparently is that it hasn't been pasteurized, so it still has the culture in it. I think that's what that means. If it still has the mother, then it is natural, apparently, for it to have worms, because this timeline loves its worms. And there's a special worm that just grows in the mother of apple cider vinegar, and that's a Turbotrix aceti, and it's 2 millimeters long, so they're long enough to see. Turbotrix. So if it's pasteurized and filtered, you won't see it, and I think that one is. But still, I mean, have you heard of this? Vinegar eels, because we haven't had enough eels. Turbotrix aceti are free-living, they're nematodes, okay, that feed on a microbial culture called mother of vinegar, used to create vinegar, and may be found in unfiltered vinegar. They were discovered by Pierre Borel in 1656. They are exceptionally tolerant of a variety of acidity and alkalinity, tolerate being able to survive from pH 1.6 to 11, so that is pretty impressive. Vinegar eels are often given to fry baby fish as live food. See, this kind of gets me too, because I used to have live fish and I would feed them live food like tubifex worms, like normal ones. And I never heard of any of this business like that there was vinegar larvas, and I probably would have been happy if I could get a smaller one, because my fish weren't that big, but I gave them the tubifex and the brine shrimp. Although they are harmless and non-parasitic, leaving eels in vinegar is considered objectionable. Okay, they're not permitted in vinegar destined for American consumers, so I wouldn't have seen them. At high concentrations near a boundary, vinegar eels synchronize their undulations, forming a collective wave. Okay, so apparently you guys who get this apple cider in other countries and it hasn't been pasteurized might get these worms. But don't worry, they're harmless. Oh, Shari got the methylene blue. I do think it really helps. Just remember, it stains everything. Eventually it'll come off, but it'll take forever. Or like put a bunch of like vitamin C in water and smear it on there to get it off. All right, there we have. Is that one I already clicked on or not? I don't even know. Oh, that's the door to hell. Yeah, that thing. That thing was just tiny before. See, like, it was just the size of a house, but now that's a person there, so it's huge now. It just keeps growing and growing. Oh, this is interesting. So we used to have the history of how it started, because they said that there was a whole, like, in blah, blah year, they drilled, and then this happened. But now, oh, there's no official reports, no confirmation. But there's no drilling reports. That's totally different. There's no disputing 100-foot deep, 100-foot deep, 226-foot wide pit of fiery fury that's been burning for 50 years in Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan. Darvaza gas crater was believed to have been started in 1971. No, I thought we had the records and stuff. To prevent the release of poisonous methane gas, they supposedly lit it on fire with the expectation that it would burn off in a few days. What they got instead was the apocalyptic birth of Turkmenistan's most infamous tourist destination, officially named the Shining of Karakum. I've not heard that name yet. The country's top source of methane pollution. Half a century old hellish gateway fire that just might snuff out soon. There is no effing way it is going to snuff out soon. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. There is no way I believe that. Maybe some corner of it will snuff out, but it'll be 10 times larger, and it'll be the size of like Kazakhstan if this keeps up. The crater's inferno lit up the skies for miles. At its peak. Oh, it's going extinct. Baloney. It is not. Today, the flames are only faintly visible near the crater as the fires have been reduced threefold. That is the new storyline. It is going extinct. Are they going to blame it on climate change? Let's see. In the 2025 conference as Ashgabat, scientists announced the previously unstoppable fire is finally starting to die off. There is no way it's dying off. I do not believe it. They opened a previously mothballed wells near the crater and drilled several new wells to pump out methane feedstock before it can reach the crater. I don't believe it. It ain't going anywhere. That thing is 10 times larger by magic. The door, oh, it does look less. The door is closing. I don't believe it's going away. There's no way. The door is closing. That is creepy, though. Okay. When was this image taken? This is recent. Huh. If it does go out, it's going to be... You know, here's the thing. It's so big now that this fire that's still left is still probably bigger than when I first saw it. Korean... 2013, it was at its peak. Somebody in a Kevlar descended to the crater floor to retrieve soil samples. I haven't heard that either. Scientists later found extremophile bacteria. Oh, this is interesting. That's like a totally new storyline for me. Okay, there's the endlessly burning Centralia's fire that also is a Mandela. Ooh, do we have another one? Oh, in Jaria, India has an underground coal seam fire since 1916. Well, that's a new one for me. Burning Mountain in Australia. What the heck? Jackie, do you know about this Burning Mountain business? Not human-made, is longest known continuously burning fire on Earth at 6,000 plus years old. Another coal seam fire. 6,000 years. You guys got a coal seam fire called Burning Mountain? Moving about 3 feet per year like never-ending barbecue coals. Why does it move so slow? Barbecue coals move faster than 3 feet a year. The local Wana Rua people have spoken about the mountain smoking as far back as ancient times. Scientists say 6,000 years sounds about right. Back in Turkmenistan, the work continues to drill more holes in an effort to capture natural gas, cut methane emissions, and finally close the door to hell. Huh. I'm still really suspicious that they'll actually be able to close that thing. When did they drill these extra holes? Because last year, there was no word about them doing any of that. It's very strange. Now they're saying it hasn't been at its peak since 2013. That was before it existed for me. Maybe we'll get to the good reality and the door will shut. The AI told me how Gate of Hell phenomena came about. Hell is closed. I don't think it's closed yet, but it's, the doors are not as wide as before. I really like my methylene blue, but if I take too much, I feel a little like there's a U-shaped curve, like this is the good amount, but more than that, and I feel a little spacey or something. I don't know how to describe. It's not a horrible feeling. Well, it's not a good feeling. It's not like I'm dying, but it's like, I kind of like it. Kind of a feeling. Spacey. We have 3 burning. So it's not hell craters. The others are coal seams. So the burning mountain thing is a coal seam. So Centralia was the first one to show up for me. I never even heard of Centralia, but now a whole town had a coal seam catch on fire, and they can't put it out, and it's burning for like decades. And then they had to evacuate the whole town, a town I never even heard of. And then the gates of hell showed up. But apparently now there's 2 more coal seam fires, and one's been burning for 6,000 years, which is a big load. Okay, Jackie, you have not heard of your 6,000-year-old coal seam fire? The old story said they started it. Yeah, they did. They knew for sure the gates of hell. They had all the info. Now, well, maybe not. Like a coal seam, like the coal that you put on a barbecue grill, that kind of coal. So, like, they dig up the barbecue coal, like the chunks of coal that they put in ovens are dug up out of seams in the earth, and that's a coal seam. And so apparently now, if those suckers catch on fire, then it'll just burn like a barbecue, like forever, until the coal runs out, which apparently is like eons. And so you have a never-ending burning mountain coal seam over there in Australia. Burning mountain. I'm pretty sure you didn't have that last time I checked. Because when Centralia showed up, I looked for other ones, and it was a special deal back then. Unique geological phenomena located in New South Wales, Australia, whereas coal seam fire has been burning for thousands of years. Known as Mount Wingen. Wingen means fire. The fire is believed to have been burning for 5,500 years. The fire has been believed to have been fire. Old as 15,000 years. Underground, slowly moving. First observed in 1828 when European settlers thought the smoke and ash were from a volcano. Popular tourist destination. Let's see, do we still have, what did I shut down Google Earth here? I might have. I don't need that. Seriously, did I shut down Google Earth? Silly Eva. Google. I really should chuck on out of here, but that's alright. Wink. Now I have to look at Burning Mountain. And Geralia. Burning Mountain. Wingen. Let's go check out Australia. Mount Wingen. Alright, well, I don't see no burning. But apparently somewhere in here there's a coal seam burning for 6,000 years. Oh, here. Maybe here. Well, there's not even any smoke. That's kind of an under-exciting thing. Google. Burning Mount Wingen. Okay, let me get some image. I want to see some fire. View of the summit. Not too exciting. Okay, it's over there. New South Wales. What? There's like no images. This is. I feel ripped off. Even the image that I saw to click on is not in there. Is this one a fresh one too? Estimated to be a depth of 100 feet, 30 meters. Why doesn't it, was all the coal deep? Is that why it doesn't come to the surface? Is there just like not enough air? Is that the problem? Mount Wingen. Hill in Australia. I can't make it larger. See, it looks like it's burning at the top. If it's burning on the top, then how come it's moving 3 feet a year? It seems a little fishy. Images. Oh. Australia's Burning Mountain has a sacred site underground. Oldest known fire on Earth. Blah, blah. Burning Mountain is that seems like an awful lot for 3 foot a year. No one knows the fire's size under Burning Mountain, but yet you know it's moving 3 foot a year. Okay. A sacred site. I'm sure that if I was in a tribe or something, I would think that was pretty weird crap. So I'm not surprised they think it's sacred. This Burning Mountain. Yeah, that is very suspicious. Oh, what? We don't have the Van Gogh field of sunflowers anymore? I think we covered that before. It's just different now. There's one, but it's not the same. You know what? I think that Odyssey stopped having, like, YouTube blocked the uploads to Odyssey, so I don't think they're on anymore. New ones are on there anymore. That's why I'm not sweating the 2-hour line as much. Thanks for coming by, Linda. If anybody says they'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today, don't trust them. Yeah, somebody is not super young, to say, if you remember those cartoons. Yeah, no, that Burning Mountain, it's the oldest known fire on Earth. You probably should have heard about it if it's in your own country. Google Earth. Let's see, what part is it in? 2D. All right. All right. Well, interesting. Okay. I was wondering if it's like some new part, like at the tip here, but I don't know. Maybe the whole thing is new. It just seems like sometimes when a new part shows up and then there's a bunch of weird crap on it. You know, we got those like zombie fires now in Canada where they burn all winter under the snow and then like pop up again in the spring. The fire is very tenacious around here. This is a vase of fun. Okay, Van Gogh. I thought we still had one go. Sun. Ooh, flowers. Oh, there was a whole field of them. So that might be one that's missing then. I think we did cover this. Man, they don't even look like sunflowers. Why did they suck? They didn't suck that bad. I think we covered this before, but they didn't suck that bad. They at least looked like the original sunflowers. It's just were in a pot, but now they don't even look like sunflowers. Oh, they suck. A lot of this old art is just getting worse. This is just looking more simplistic and... Well, I mean, what is this? Third version replica. Still, if it looked anything like that, it's not good. Yeah, that's not good either. They're all, okay, yeah, well... Famous painting sunflowers. Let me just see if we can find it. I remember it on Doctor Who, because they had an episode with Van Gogh, and there was sunflowers. Famous painting. What's in... Oh, man, what's in that Doctor Who episode, then? Is it the painting that never was, or something? All right, wait a minute now. Let me go to Google... Because how can that Doctor Who episode be there? Doctor Who, sunflowers, Van Gogh episode. Vincent and the Doctor. It was aired in... So, I guess they just has the other painting now. I guess they, as long as there's some painting, they could just put that in there. Not tra-la-la. Amy fills Van Gogh's garden with sunflowers as per his famous still lives. Organized a special watch of Doctor Who episode Vincent and the Doctor. The Lord of Chaos has greatly enjoyed the last 2 tweet-alongs. Blah, blah. The episode begins with Van Gogh painting what some have said is his last work, a wheat field with crows. We then cut to the Musée d'Orsay in Paris. Where's the... Across the gallery, you get a glimpse of this, one of numerous paintings of sunflowers by Van Gogh. This is like a very vague statement that could have fit with the old one. Alright, so I guess then that changed also. Yeah, it's gone. I do remember a field of sunflowers, though, and they were much better than that, so I totally agree with you. Yeah, the old paintings get worse. It's sad. South of Australia. Yeah, there's a lot of ever-ending changes on the coastlines. Trump is looking mighty guilty. I don't know. He's totally switched his whole storyline in the last 2 weeks, and I don't know what's going on. It's like we got a shift and we got a new Trump or something. See? So the last time I saw it, I think we were like at, yes, it's now in vases instead of a field, but they didn't, they looked like the sunflowers that were in the field. Now they don't. They're just awful. Yeah, I heard about the sunflowers avoiding the sun thing. So for me, they would just grow generally towards where the sun came up, like where the majority of the sun was in the sky, like depending on your hemisphere and stuff. But they never followed it. But for some people, they followed it the whole time. And apparently now we're at a thing where they follow it when they're young and then they don't follow it when they're old. So like there's something for everybody. Yeah, Shari, same with me. I stopped watching it because it actually just wasn't good anymore. It wasn't just the woke factor, but the writing wasn't good, and I didn't like, I'm not saying a woman couldn't do it. I thought that when they had a woman as the master, she did a great job, but the person they had playing the Doctor just did not carry it off well, and then the writing wasn't good either, and I just wah, wah. See, the Doctor Who was always subtly woke. It was, they had the lessons, but they didn't flag them in your face and smack you upside the head. And that's the way it always should have been. They didn't have to get any more in your face with it. Anyway, yes, I agree with you. It's gone. Well, it is time, speaking of goneness, for me to head on out. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Somehow I managed to yap about nothing for 2 hours, so hope you could bear with me. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.